Hi everybody. Here we are for a very special day, day 22 of this series of 100 transmissions. And I'm thinking of a friend of mine who's 22 is one of his favourite numbers, and it appears when just when he needs a little bit of love or a little bit of support, like a kind of message of it's okay, you've got this. So I'm really smiling that it's therefore day 22 when it's this transmission. Like I didn't I didn't plan this at all. Today's transmission, part 2 of this little 3-part series within these 100 days, is about being with fears. So yesterday, if you haven't seen that one yet, go back to yesterday, because that would be nice to start with that one. If this is your first, or if you've missed a few days, then I would suggest going back to yesterday to recognizing yourself, and then coming into today, which is about being with your fears. And then tomorrow is going to be about what's the word? Realizing your desires, I think. Recognizing your desires? No, realizing feels like the right word. Anyway, today is about being with your fears. So not only is it perfect because it's the 22nd day of this series of 100, and as I say, that number comes to my friend when he just needs a little bit of extra support, a little bit of extra, you're okay, you're doing the right thing. But also, I've noticed that the time I went live was 13:33. It's a lovely 333 in there, and number 3 is one of my favourite numbers, which shows up in my life a lot. So yeah, lots of lovely feelings as I come into this transmission with you today. And also really perfectly timed, again, not planned. How could I ever plan this? But there's been such a theme this morning with people I'm talking to who are in some form of fear of their experience, which is fundamentally the only problem that's ever going on in the world, is when we're afraid of what we're experiencing. Because when we're with it just as it is, it's fine, whatever it is. We handle it step by step, moment to moment. The minute we start to think it's wrong, it shouldn't be like this, there's instantly fear and resistance in the system. And that actually keeps it in place and keeps us from the clarity that we'd otherwise love to have. So I've seen with people I've spoken to this morning who are wishing their experience was different. If this is how I'm feeling, this is the mood I'm in, but I want it to be different. That's a form of fear of what we're experiencing. There was somebody who was in confusion, feeling confused, not sure what the right thing was, and seeing how the natural response, in fear of being confused, in fear of not knowing, the normal response rather, not the natural, the normal response is to try and know. Well, if I could just know, then I'll be okay. It's only a short-term fix to know. And then if confusion arises again, what then? We have to know more. And then we reach a point where we realize that what I really want isn't knowledge. What I really want is an absence of confusion. Or at the very least, what I really want is not to be afraid of the feeling of confusion. So these fears that we're being with today aren't necessarily the ones we all think of, where we go, well, yeah, of course I don't want to feel anxious anymore. Of course I don't want to feel overwhelmed anymore. Of course I don't want to be in this relationship anymore because it brings up fear. We have fear of very everyday experiences, like confusion, like not knowing, like not being certain of what's going to happen next, like having a certain mood appear, which we think, if we're afraid of it, we think it's going to last forever and this is it, and I'm going to spend the rest of my days in this kind of mood. So these fears we're being with today can be very everyday, very ordinary, ones which we don't even realize we're afraid of. We don't even realize we're pushing them away and saying no, wrong, and resisting them. And that strategy has served us for a while, But if you're here, it's probably because you've reached the stage where that strategy is no longer serving you. You're being invited to be in relationship with fears in an entirely different way. And hence why today we're being with fears. We're not clearing fears. We're not transmuting fears. We're not transcending fears. We're just being with fears, exactly as they are. And so the energy that comes through in the transmission today will be supporting you in that process and supporting you in that remembrance, as from yesterday, the recognition of yourself as the beingness. And that it's that beingness that is already with the fears and with everything that came before the fear. So we're really just returning you to your natural state of being with fears exactly as they are. There's no need for them to change, no need for them to go, no need for them to be transmuted. But then paradoxically, not with that agenda, but when we can genuinely be with fears, then they move, they settle, they change, they go. Not because we tried to get rid of them, just because we were okay with being with them as they were. So, quite a long intro today, but that felt important to kind of contextualize how this is different from most of what's happening in the world of development, and which is a very much more loving space to be in. So as always, we'll have our 15 minutes of transmission time with this intention of being with ears. The gong will sound at the start and at the end. And when we finish, if you can stay in that space for some time and just let it all settle into your system, then all the better. If you can't, then no worries. But if you can, then amazing. So let's get going. And yeah, as always, thank you for being here. And if you're enjoying this mini series, then I'll see you again tomorrow as we move into desires. Much love to you. I shall see you on the other side. the end of our transmission for today. Thank you for joining me. See you again tomorrow. Lots of love.